And now, tonight on Tactical Tuesday, what is the state of your preparedness evolution? Let me do it this way. There we go. I'm still waiting for Dave and Al to come in here. All right, how's everybody doing this evening? Yeah, so this is kind of continuing on with what Dave was talking about in his live stream previous year. What were the hard parts starting out? And here is Al. So we'll bring Al up here with me. And basically, what we were talking about on Dave's was, at the beginning, what were the hard things he had? What was difficult at the beginning? Well, now later on, if you've been doing it for a year or so, or more, 10 years or 20 years, or like Al and I, 40 years, what is the state of your preparedness evolution? And if you look below us, you see starting out here as a little bit baby, and getting older and older and older, and graduating to college, getting a job, making money, and then the last one, they're walking the canes, the old man bent over. Oh, Uncle Al. So, that's what we're going to be looking at here is what is the evolution of your emergency preparedness, status here. Okay. I'm just checking the other computer here. So Courtney's here, and we've got several lurkers that aren't saying hi or anything. Al, I think I should have waited and put the announcement out this morning instead of yesterday.
Right.
So basically, your preparedness should be evolving always, and your preparedness should be based on a plan. No plan, then you plan to fail. And your plan, whatever you write out for your plan, and you got to write it out. Hold up your notebook, Al. Notebook, write it out.
Also, I don't have the spreadsheet because that's too big. I have to lift the other computer up.
Yeah. So when you're writing it out, you need to review your plan at least annually. When I worked for Homeland Security and I was doing the tactical response plans for all the emergencies and stuff, the requirement was to review it every 6 months. Well, I reviewed it quarterly because I had more experience than the guy that's way up above in Congress that says, "Oh, we want these plans reviewed semi-annually." You need to review plans. I was reviewing the plans quarterly because we were testing it quarterly. And when we tested it, we did a review of the plan to see what worked and what didn't. Okay,
right,
Caitlin's here, and Tammy, Rebel Candace is here.
Also, because of the change of seasons, I keep telling people this, right, Gil? The change of seasons. Every quarter is a different season. You go from winter, which is a whole set of different things to survive. Then you go like right now, what Uncle Alan's facing, 103-degree heat.
Yeah,
it's going to be 106 tomorrow.
And it's not even summer yet. You still got 21 days to go before it hits summertime.
Right.
And so one of the things to consider in finding out what is this
froze.
Yeah, froze because of my internet. What is the state of your preparedness evolution is, well, let's just show it to you here and we can get on with this here. I got some things to consider. With everything that's going on in the world right now, especially what happened Monday, or actually over the weekend, and you didn't discover it till Monday morning, are you behind the 8 ball? Do you have all the supplies you need and stuff? And we're going to go in about what happened this weekend a little bit here in a little bit. Hey, Sarah. Sarah's in the house now. And then, or are you good to go? As Steve at Corsair Trainers like to say. Do you have your supplies and stuff? Are you ready? Or not so good? Are you buried up to your neck in problems? Trying to figure out what you really need to be doing? Or do you have someplace to go all set up? Whether it's an underground bunker or a bug out location, or if you're at that location, are you getting everything set up? perfectly. Or not so good. You've been spending all your money on partying and other stuff, and the brand new 200-inch screen plasma TV with the LCD warm light on it, or the $800 iPhone.
Mine didn't cost that much, but
Yeah. So or are you good? You got your garden in, you're saving money, you're growing food that you're, instead of buying it at the grocery store, having to worry about someone else's delivery system, or worrying about whether or not the farmers are taking care of the soil and everything properly and not getting E. coli into the salads. Or are you up the creek without a paddle? You forgot to do stuff and you just totally messed up on your planning and you just kind of screwed up. So,
hey, get my picture off your screen.
Hey, I got you up here twice too.
I see that. It's scary.
Yeah. So what is in your storage? And let's see the next one here. Okay, take that out. So, actually, did I put something else in there or not? Nope, that was the end. Okay.
Done.
Okay. So, what state of evolution are you in your preparedness strategy?
Mine's easy.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell it what yours is.
Oh, mine's easy. If y'all look at the bottom right-hand corner of this picture that's behind us three, you see the little guy with the cane? That's me.
No, that's the guy above you. He already claimed the cane. You're the one right behind him.
There's days I need a cane too. That's why I got one, but okay. I'm
It's
right behind you.
Yeah,
hey,
there's the cane.
Hey, it's just like Noah's Ark. There's plenty of room in this boat for all of us.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I said hi to that. So, all right, just start typing in the highs there.
Hello,
everybody. All right. Yep. So, my walls won't support a 200. Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant to say 120-inch, which is still a 10-foot diagonal TV, and it's like I've seen people installing those stupid things. It's like, what? What do you want to do? Have to have your eyes suddenly go.
I'll admit, I have a 55-inch TV. I've had it now for 4 years. It's got a line running down it because it's that old and it's not working the way 100%. But it's also sitting 12 feet from the couch. So when you get a 55-inch TV, 12 feet from the couch, it looks like my 32-inch monitor does 3 feet from my face. It's not that big, that far away.
I remember when I was growing up, the first TV I remember was in my grandmother's house, and I think it was like a 24-inch diagonal TV.
From RCA?
RCA, yeah. And we sat back 15 feet from it. We weren't allowed to sit within 8 feet of it. And we saw that just fine, worked just good.
Hey, Rebel, the only reason mine gets turned on now is because I hooked a computer up to it for Charles.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it sits off. I don't watch TV.
That's what I got here right now. I picked up a Dell TV monitor, and that's what I use here. Of course, I don't have to. And
he doesn't have his Disney impersonations down yet, so he's got to do it some more today.
Yeah. This is weird. Last night on Courtney's, I went the entire thing without freezing once for several hours. All right. So, everyone.
Yes, Sarah.
Where'd Al go?
He
He took himself out. So, one of the things to consider on what is the state of your evolution, you got to have the plan in place. And let's see if I can pull that up here while I'm talking about it.
Either that or half of California just fell in the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, wait, he's in the desert.
He's in the desert section. There he's back. There he is.
Yeah.
Hit the wrong button, huh?
Yeah, I hit the wrong button again.
Yeah, he just wanted to be at the bottom of the pile, and that's my spot. I always sit in the back of the room.
I'm going to see if I can, yeah, it's coming up here. So let me get this set up here. So open this up in a new tab and this one up in the new tab. All right. So one of the things to, come on, back here. That's not where it's supposed to be at. Okay, there we go. It likes to jump around here on me. Come on. There we go. And go make this like full screen. There we go. Now I can bring it up. Boom. So this is one of my videos that was as Planning for Emergencies Part A. Without a plan, you wind up saying, you know, dang it, I should have waited to do this, and I should have started this sooner. You get things done out of order, and things are really kind of goofy on that. Where's the other thing here? Another thing, one thing to remember here, I love this point. So we're going to run over some ground rules here. So the ground rules are, you know, there are certain things you must understand. The only rules that matter are these: what a man can do, and what a man can't do. So, you know, if you can't do it, you know, you shouldn't be trying to go overboard and do a plan for things that you can't do. All right. And so I'll bring us back here. So, you know, you need to have a plan, and your plan needs to be obtainable. And you need to check it out, and you need to review your plan at least annually, if not semi-annually or quarterly, to see where you are in your preparedness evolution. Are you down over here just learning to walk, or are you learning to start to run, or are you over there, down there, next to Al's head there with the money bag where you're all set? You're living below your income, so you have more money to spend on your preps and everything else, like Nina was saying the last hour. And so that's, you know, you got to look at what you've done already, where you're going, and everything. Because also, if you don't have a plan, there's several things that go on it. You got to remember that pitiful planning and preparation predicates pathetically poor performance. I had to read it, otherwise I get tongue-tied on that one. That's like saying Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So there are things to worry about that. Now, one of the things that
actually, the saying is prior preparing prevents poor performance.
Well, I didn't want to use that one because that one also supposed to, you left the P out, which is PP, performance.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. I was trying to be family friendly.
Right.
Yeah.
But Steve always say that on his channel, and it's not family friendly.
Yeah, and he used a few other color.
Yeah, I know.
P's in there. So, but one of the things, you know, if you're not where you want to be in your preparedness evolution,
Welcome back.
you can't figure out why you're not there. Steve, come in. You said hi. I don't see Steve in there.
Oh,
No,
Steve's
Courtney
always
is.
lurking. I just say hi
Oh.
to Kayla.
Yeah.
Courtney.
Just in case he's lurking. Yeah.
Right. I
So
hit
one
the
of
wrong button. So
So one of the things to realize that in your planning, you can't plan from point A to point B. You know, it's like a spider web. You know, it's always moving. You jiggle it, it bounces around. It does. Every time you try to go,
You need to turn yourself around.
I froze again. Okay, so you can't get from point A to point B in a straight line. It goes this way, that way, all around in different ways, and it, you know, it's because you may think it's kind of out of order. And in my video that I was showing there, I was explaining how things fit together. And that's why you need to have a plan, so you can make a list of what you want versus what you actually need. And then you can actually get the needs. And once you have all the needs, then you can up your luxury level or comfort level and get the things you want.
And that's how I managed to, and I keep it down here. For one, it's an excellent prop. It's my medical bag. I figured out, Okay, I know I need regular Band-Aids. I'm old. I fall down sometimes, so I need some gauze, some nonstick pads, some tapes, rubbing alcohol, hydrogen peroxide. Got an EpiPen in there. Gee, but that's not quite enough. So I wrote a list down of what I had. Then I contacted people I know and trust. Like, hey, Doc, this is what I got. What would you add to it? And I contacted another person by the name of Rescue Boss, and I talked to Backwoods Law about it. I contacted people I trusted and say, hey, look, I need suggestions, guys. This is what I've got. And Rescue Boss, he sent me a care package, and I talked to other people, and I made a list of these are the things I need to get. And I did it over time. You're not going to fill that bag in one shot unless you're pulling down $700-800 a week, and you've got $300-400 a week that you ain't spending on anything. Then you can make a bag like that in a week's time. Take your time when trying to do it, because otherwise you're going to actually go backwards in your evolution. You're going to go from having money bags to a little baby crawling on the floor going, help me, help me. And if you at one point in time were doing good and you went backwards because you didn't properly plan, there's a good chance that people are going to look at you and say, I'm not going to help. You had the opportunity to do it right and you blew it. Yeah. And I'll admit that's the wrong kind of mentality to have, but there are people out there that are that way, and they'll say, well, since how you ain't got, we're going to take what you have left. Yeah. So be prudent in what you plan by making that list, following that list. And if you get to a point where it's like, okay, I got to wait 2 weeks before I get it, then wait 2 weeks. Don't go blow that money that you've got put aside for, say, a solar panel and controller. Okay, I know it's going to take 2 weeks of, extra income to do that. Don't go blow the money next week when when it's supposed to be sitting there for that on some frou-frou movie with, Joe Schmo down the street or some cute little girl down on the corner. Don't go blowing it. Save it and, put it where it needs to go.
Right. You don't want to be figure 4, the guy running in panic because he didn't plan correctly. And like, oh my God. Well, on this site, me and Dave, we got our canes, we got our money bag, and we have Gil's in the middle someplace. And we're taking it easy. We're not number 4 running for our lives. No.
Yeah. One of the things to remember too is the best way I can explain it, like I did in the video, was when I worked at DHS, I was in charge as the emergency management coordinator. I set up what was called the base plan. And the base plan covered basic survival needs. And that was the basic stuff that we need for no matter what. And upon that was built, 30, 40 tactical response plans, like a tactical response plan for earthquakes, wildfires, floods, hijackings, whatever. And so basically, the base plan needed to cover water, food, clothing, and shelter. And like for most people not in the government, shelter is where you live. For us in the government, we had these portable trailers where we had to go out to do something and take care of an emergency out there, whatever, or we had to bring people in and stay at the office there. We had trailers with tents and stuff in them that we could set up so they could sleep and work, there without traveling through the riotous areas. And so these are the basics for no matter what you're prepping for. These are the basics to get, these things right here. So, all right, pull that off. So evolution. Okay. That's one of the things you gotta look for first in your prepping evolution. Do I have the basics? Go ahead, Al. You started to say something.
Yeah, I can't figure it. In Moan 135 says, was that an EMC of North Washington or Northeast Northern California?
EMC.
I have no idea.
Emergency Management Coordinator.
He
was federal, as in federal, as in Uncle Sam, big brother looking over your shoulder.
Right.
Department of Homeland Security.
Okay. And I was stationed in Northern California at the center of Region 9, but I worked because I didn't want to live in DC. And hey, computers, I can work from anywhere. And so that was where I was living. So that's where I worked from. So I was always on the phone with the guys or on the computer emailing or conference calls with DC. So yeah. Of course, also what's fun is when they had to relocate during the winter storms and stuff to a certain location as their coop facility. I didn't have to because I was in California. Or when they freaked out when they had that earthquake back there and they all bugged up and they're like, hey, that was only a 4.5. Where are you guys going? But anyways, the thing is to remember is your basics is what you get first. Once you have your basics, then you can start expanding to, okay, I'm really interested in preparing for, see, I'm in Louisiana, so I'm interested in preparing for hurricanes and flooding and, mosquito invasion, whatever it is. So you plan according with that. I would probably say, if you want to see how someone's planning that, go check out Brassard Homestead. Brett and Amy are doing great down there with all the flooding and everything else. And
they're going to be on Courtney's channel tomorrow night at 6:30 Pacific, 7:30 Mountain 8:30
Central, and 9:30 Eastern.
Right.
And that's a Wide Family Farm is where they're going to be on. But yeah, they basically moved to their bug out location, set up their homestead. They got great gardens going, and they're growing all the stuff, and then they're having to deal with all the stuff here, and they are still learning. Heck, after almost 50 years in emergency preparedness, I'm still learning myself because things change. Emergency preparedness evolves. Back in the day, the homemade fire extinguisher with the coffee can with the holes punched in the bottom, the lid, plastic lid over that, plastic lid over the top filled with baking soda is not used anymore because people, oh, I got it, and they used it wrong. So the fire department's ever go, no, don't use that. Just buy a regular fire extinguisher. Things evolve. So you're always learning. If you're not learning, guess what you're doing? Like Dave said, you're regressing. You're falling. Hey, it's like being on one of those moving sidewalks or an escalator. If you're not walking against it, all of a sudden it stops and starts taking you backwards. If it's like going the wrong way on one of those moving walkways. You got to keep moving to go forward. All right. It's forever in this. Yeah, exactly. Prepping to endure. Forever in a state of flux. Things are always changing. Now, if you're, you learn every day because things change quickly. So you got to examine, take stock, do an audit, whatever you want to call it, of what your situation is.
I don't like the A word. It brings back connotations of the IRS.
Well, my wife is an accountant, so guess what she likes to use?
Audit.
Yeah. And
get away with that. I respect her for her military service, so she gets my respect. So I'll let her get away with it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, if you don't give the staff sergeant her due,
drop and give her 50. And be careful, she might put a foot on your back.
Either that or run as fast as you can.
Right.
And even then, she'll find some way of catching you.
Right. Let's put this in kind of a today's connotation.
Yeah.
With the recent cyber attack that's been blamed on Russia, which we have no proof of where it actually originated, we just have somebody's mouth at this moment.
I thought it was someone said it came from South America.
There's
in the beginning
saying it came from all over. It could have came from India. Who knows? Irregardless of where it came from, the fact is, it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they're saying, oh, we're going to have even more meat shortages. And oh my gosh. Well, you know what? I've been watching the price of meat locally for me here. What I spent 3 months ago on hamburger, for what I got to spend now on the same roll of hamburger, I could buy almost 2.
Yeah.
A few months ago, I bought 2 steaks because Charles and I like to indulge once in a blue moon on something really nice and thick and juicy. I like a nice 1-inch thick steak, barbecued. I just, it's a nice luxury. I don't have it every day. I only have it like once every 2 or 3 months. But what I paid 2 months ago for it was, 2 1-inch steaks, enough for me and Charles to have a meal, a couple baked potatoes, cost $13. That same cut of meat, the same thickness, is now almost $20 for the same weight and size. So if you're not in a proper state of evolution in your prepping, that's going to hit you very hard. And with the prices of meat likely to go even higher now due to the hack, if you're not prepared for it now, where it's at now, and it gets exceptionally worse, where are you going to be then? You're actually going to start going backwards, trying to play catch up, and you don't never want to try and play catch up due to a situation.
Right.
Because if you're trying to play catch up, you're going to start stressing. If you start stressing, you'll make mistakes. The first mistake anybody ever makes in any plan, and anybody that's been in the military, that's a first responder, that's had any kind of decent training, will tell you the minute you start to stress, you'll start to panic, and you're going to become deer in the headlights struck. You're not going to be able to react the way you need to. Do your best to never play catch up.
Right.
All right. Something just came up here. I'm going to show it here. They changed the headline here. So JBS expects most plants will be operating tomorrow, Wednesday. They shut down today while they got everything straightened out. The backup servers were not affected by the hack. So they just had to purge the live servers and then back up the data. So unfortunately, the data was backed up on Friday before all this happened. But and what I'm trying to see if this was the company's headquarters is in Brazil, and the places that were hit. Does this article have it, or is on the other one?
I think it's on
Here
the
in
other
America
one.
and down in Australia.
Yeah,
And
Canada, Ottawa, Canada was hit. There were several here in the U.S. and down in Australia that were hit. Several of the other countries where JBS is at weren't touched. So, and guys, all this did was affect orders going out from their different warehouse processing centers out. So all that is going to develop a 2-day backup or 3-day backup, which they can catch up on within a week or two.
Well, okay.
Give or take, if they, if depending how much you're shipping.
As somebody who's delivered and picked up said plants in the past, pulling reefers, and picking up a JBS, I have picked up at one of their plants, the processing plant. Seeing the amount of trucks that come in just 1 day's time, and depending on which ones were affected, the one I was at was averaging 75 trucks a day in an 8-hour period. That's how many trucks. Now, they were offline. Monday was a holiday, and today they're offline. So that's 2 days. It's 150 trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But Monday they were scheduled to be down. So that was in the schedule already on Monday.
But the thing is, the normal process, they can make up the 75 that's down on Monday throughout the week because they'll actually stay up. They'll actually be processing plant right through to this coming Sunday. There will be an extra 1 or 2 days added for a 1-day hold, like that. There'll be overtime. Now with the extra day, they've added an extra 75 trucks. It will take 2 weeks to actually catch up on those orders.
Yeah. Okay.
A 2-week delay at a manufacturing facility, for those who aren't familiar with the just-in-time system, is about almost a full month's time to the actual stores themselves. Okay. And now I can almost guarantee it's going to be like the TP scare we had last year and started again this year. There are people that are going to go out who have half empty freezers because they don't plan ahead. They seen, oh, these places got hacked. I better run out and buy me 55 pounds of hamburger steak and pork chops and chicken and all this other stuff. And all of a sudden there's a run on the stores.
Yeah.
Well, it exasperates the situation because what there was plenty in that store for everybody to have for up to 3 days. Now the store is out calling up saying, hey, I need a load. And they're going, I'm sorry, we're still trying to catch up from the hack we had last week.
Yeah.
So,
Dave,
yes.
Omen 135 has a question for you. I heard there's a trucker shortage.
There has been for years.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, as somebody who's driven, and people come up to me, hey, you used to drive, right? Yep. Is there any money in it? Not anymore. They put systems in trucks that monitor your driving. If the truck moves an inch, it logs that inch, even though it's technically not supposed to. It says the truck was moving. It's a little exaggerated, but you get the point. Drivers can't fudge their logbooks anymore to make $1. When I drove truck, I will be honest, because I'm not driving anymore, and it's past 7 years, so DOT can't come and say crap to me. They might want to try, but there were times when legally I can only make 2 trips to Florida in a 7-day period. There were times when I've made 3 just to make ends meet. That's not making a profit. That's not paying the bills, really. That's just making enough to survive. The average trucker spends about $250 a week on the road for necessities. That's not, buying movies and all this other great stuff. That's food at truck stops, sometimes having to buy the extra shower because your air conditioner went out in the truck and you've been sweating with 265 AC, which is 2 windows down, 65 mile an hour. It gets extremely expensive out there, especially with everything going up now. Not 250 was 10 years ago. I'd hate to see it. It's probably like 3.25 now just to survive out on the road 7 days a week. And so now they don't have the option now of fudging their logbook a little bit to try and get from point A to point B, get that 4 hours worth of sleep, unload, go to your reload, spend 8, 9, 10 hours waiting for your reload, and then have to try and travel to 6, 7 states to another state to try and unload and be there on time to do it before they dock you X number of dollars for being late. And drivers are just getting sick and tired of it. Hey, I can't make any money. I go to McDonald's, make $15 an hour now, and not have to worry about DOT trying to climb up my exhaust pipe.
Yeah. So, Kaylin was saying there, she's there in Iowa near one of the, she's back there and saying that it wasn't the production lines. None of the production lines were hit. It was just the scheduling and financial and other operations that they got to that computer. So, and Tammy has a good point here. Shop local, know your farmer, and eliminate the middleman if you can. Actually, if you're lucky and you're rural enough where there are people raising cattle, locals and stuff. My daughter, from someone here in town that raises cattle just to, for the slaughter and stuff and to, sell out, bought a steer from them and took it, got it to the place they said to go to get it processed. And they got 600 and it wasn't quite 650, but almost 650 pounds of meat from it. And the price for that was half what they would have had to pay in the store. And there's not a bunch of water added to the hamburger. It's dry hamburger. I mean, it's, you cook it up, you don't have all this water and stuff running off of it and everything else.
It'd be like 98%.
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure on the fat content, but the water content wasn't down. It wasn't added like they do at the stores.
Right. So it'd be about 98%, folks, because 93% has water, about 10% in it. So if it's 98, that's pretty dry beef.
Yeah. All right, right. I'm on it. Has a great. He's got an Amish food auction in his area. I know on Saturdays they're up in Idaho Falls here. It's about 20-minute drive. Is to the farmers market. So, but there's people in town here that plant big gardens, and when the gardens come in, they got an honor system. You can stop by and you go out and pick a bunch of stuff, and they have suggested donation list, and you just put the money in the box there, for people in town here. And so there are a lot of ways to do it. Now, I'm going to get on a touchy subject, so I'm going to be dancing around it using code words, people. If you happen to have your freedom stick with plenty of freedom seeds for old-fashioned mechanisms of the single variety, whether it be bolt or lever, and you get the license to go do it, elk, deer, bear, moose, bison, there are things that you can go out and get. But you got to go with a group of people so you can have enough to pack it back in and to do everything you need to do. And
here's one that nobody said in a long time. Squirrel.
Yeah.
Squirrel properly cooked.
Yeah.
And cooked and taken care of quickly is actually not that bad.
Yeah.
And so if you without, and that's all you can get, then you better get it.
Here's a tip, everybody. Everybody in California has solar collectors, and this summer I'll make a bunch of money. I'll be cleaning out the solar collectors for one thing, and it's not rats. We call them sky rats, but pigeons love to make nests in the solar collectors. I clean it out. I take the squab, a small baby pigeon. I'll fatten them up here at the house, and when time comes, and put them in the freezer. I'm down to 5 squab, and people are wondering, where did you get these little game Cornish hens? And I keep telling them that ain't Cornish hen. It's squab. And everybody knows what's, yep. In a wine sauce and mushroom with a little garlic, it's fine.
Hey, and there are channels out there, Brassard's, I just lost it, Samson Farms and others that raise quail. Same thing.
And
same size, basically.
Pigeons are actually decent. My stepdad used to raise them, and I got a hand in raising some when I was a kid, and they're actually pretty cool too. If you set it up between you and another farmer, you can actually swap them back and forth, and you'll have a form of homing pigeon, so you can send notes back and forth.
Right. And what Dave raised for racing is the blue modern, right, Dave?
Blue bars, blue checks. We had tumblers. We had 13 different varieties of pigeon. I can't remember them all.
Right. But the blue modern is the most common pigeon because I know I've been pulling them out this last month.
Yeah. All right. So we talked here now about some of the ways you can alleviate or alter your plan to deal with things coming, unexpected things. Well, Dave talked about it last year and had a live stream on it. We've done a couple live streams on it this year about the fragile supply system. All right. And basically, if you're dependent solely on your grocery store,
you're already behind the 8 ball.
You're spinning that roulette wheel and betting on a number that ain't there.
It's not even a roulette wheel, because at least at a roulette wheel, there's a lot more chances to get somewhere. You're literally playing Russian roulette with your life. Literally. Yep. I hate to put it so bluntly and so disgustingly gory, but if you're relying on that grocery store to have food every 3 days when you go to it, then you're setting yourself for absolute failure. Yeah. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. There's no nice way to put it succinctly. You either plan ahead or you're already behind. And in this day and age with the riots and everything that goes on, and sure, here where I'm at in Ohio, I don't have to look at it face to face, but there are some areas where they have to look at it face to face. Well, if you're, let's say you lived in Portland, Oregon, and you live near the free zone, and you needed to go to the store, would you be willing to drive your car through the free zone to get to Walmart that probably ain't got nothing anyway because they're afraid to bring a truck in because it's probably going to get robbed?
Yeah.
So when you get to Walmart and they have nothing, and now you get to drive back through that free zone to get home with a mob following you because they think you got something. Okay. Yes, I'm making it deliberately scary for a reason, because that is a possibility. Do I want to see it happen? Heck no. Can it happen? It has happened, folks.
Yeah.
It's happened here in America. Look at Venezuela. A red wagon full of money buys a loaf of bread. Okay, these are extremes, yes. But you have to think of these extremes to put yourself in a mindset saying, I understand now with seeing where it could go, where it has gone in other places. I may want to start putting away, 25 pounds of flour in a bucket somewhere in a cold, dark environment ain't got to worry about bugs. That way, if it gets to the point where it takes $2,000 to buy a loaf of bread, I'll be making my own.
Right.
All right.
Also,
for those of you who came in late here, I want to run something for you really quick here. We're going to fire it back up. So, basically we're talking about is what is the state of your preparedness evolution? Are you like Dave said, are you behind the 8 ball, or are you actually in front of it? Are you good to go? Or are you buried up to your necks in minutia of political whatever, and not planning and basically poor planning? Are you good to go? Are you ready to have your supplies there? Or are you been blowing your budget and you're not ready to buy anything? You've been blowing it on movies, going out partying with the friends on Saturday night, whatever. Or are you planting a garden? Are you growing stuff and saving money? Or are you up the poop creek without a paddle? And so there we go. That's what I ran off in the beginning.
Okay, I've got to say it this way. It's required now. Don't live a mundane life. And for those who don't know what that means or the connotation behind it, you'll have to go watch last week's live stream on my channel.
And it's a good one, folks.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, you don't want to live a life of sheeple. No. Prepping can be fun. And here,
let's use Steve's favorite saying. Let's make less victims.
Yes, exactly. And
fewer
Steve
victims.
is Corsair trainers. And he cuts through a lot of minutia, and he has a video series called Reality Check. For all those that think, when the end comes, it's going to be great. I'm going to be able to do all this stuff. I like his first video. I went back and watched it again, of the Reality Check. Was Reality Check and the cookie. If we have SHTF and everything goes downhill, do you have what it takes to make a cookie? Just a simple cookie? And he goes, it is funnier than heck, but it's so serious and to the point that are you able to get by doing simple things to have luxury in a world?
Right. And let me counterpoint this one, folks. Uncle Alan tells everybody you could do gardens in your backyard and stuff, but Uncle Alan learned from hard experience. You have to understand, a backyard garden will not feed your family. Unless you do like Gil and get a farm and put stuff out there, you could feed your family. But Uncle Alan don't trust nobody. So I have my nephew's farm, which has an acre garden, which I split work with the workers at the dairy, and they could take all the vegetables they want, but leave me 10%. So I don't have to be there all the time because Uncle Alan thinks. 2, I have my patio backyard. Everybody's seen that. They're all like, what's that covered wagon, Uncle Alan? It's a climate-controlled area, so I could grow lettuce in 106-degree heat. And people are looking at me, that's smart. And yeah, and also I have a truck farmer, a truck gardener, that I pay $700 a year, either by profit of what I grow, which was strawberry this year. Strawberry grew really well this year, so I don't have to pay him $700 because he sold it at his vegetable stand at whatchamacallit, a farmer's market, and he made the money for that. So he could plant all my other crops on his farm. So I got 3 sources of food.
Yeah. I was just trying to find something here to show it. It's not coming up very good. So
And while you look for that, I'll say this. When it comes to surviving in any situation in the future where poop hits the oscillating device, or it's an economic turn down locally and you've got to deal with lack of, it's going to take a community to survive. You are not going to lone wolf it. I've got training. Gil's got training. Al's got training. Steve at Corsair has training. We're smart enough to do it by ourselves. We're good enough to, but we're also smart enough to realize we're not going to do it by ourselves. We're all going to have a community to be able to pull together, because you know what? You cannot stay up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to guard what you got. You got to sleep sometime. Because if you try staying up, and it's a proven fact, if you try staying up that long, eventually your mind will snap. So if you think you're a lone wolf type, more power to you. But I'm going to tell you right now, you won't make it without a community. It's a proven fact.
Yeah.
Right.
Just saying.
And the community doesn't have to be big, huge. It doesn't have to be a bunch of the I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember what Steve called them, but basically, basically knuckle dragging. You got to have pew pew sticks. You got to have this. You got to have You got to have. You don't. I now remember what Steve says. You don't have to have the latest high speed, low drag gear. You don't need the latest.
Because Miss Nina, while the intention originally may have been good, sadly, you got misled and led astray. But I know for a fact, Miss Nina, you're strong enough, smart enough, and bullheaded enough to make what you've got work. And you've also got a couple good boys there that'll help you get it done.
Right.
Oh, well.
Before Gil go on, you have to remember, folks, it's all in networking. See, Uncle Alan has 5 networks. One of them this weekend I used, and people trust me because Uncle Alan's always trustable. I help out this family. This family, well, I know Dave, but this family knows me. They spent the weekend with me. I set them up. I got contacts for them, and they're relocating to my area. So I have another person on my list if time needs to be, and Uncle Alan needs to sleep for 2 or 3 days. They're there because Uncle Alan did a big favor. Drive the truck, move them all out here, get them set up in nice housing, because where they originally was in Fresno was, I mean, dear Lord.
At least it wasn't Stockton.
True, but Fresno is about bad as Stockton.
Yeah. All right. I found what I was looking for here. So I'm going to bring it up here. It's going to be kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can. Anyways, this is Brassard Homestead Prep Setting the Cajun Way Facebook page. All right. If you're not a member, try to join it. Go over there, check them out. Brassard Homestead - Prep Setting the Cajun Way.
I tried. They wouldn't accept me. I was sad.
Well, that's because they thought you were a Tennessee hillbilly.
Well, just because I talk like one once in a while.
All right. So basically, Brett put this up here. This is the one he's invited everybody to post stuff on. And it says, good morning, group. It's going to be a great day. Can I see a pic of something from your homestead or preps that makes you happy?
Hey, Q Kitchen.
And everybody's posting up, raised planter bed, potato plant growing here. And, everyone's putting up, their little garden things, the eggs they're getting, the the back pasture, whatever. They're going through, some of the big old Tom they got. The Ponderosa, the Louisiana Ponderosa lemon is
Pros.
that makes them happy. The raspberries bush is going. Their sheeps are looking good. Their morning view, some of the sausage they made, all the different things. They got all the rabbits are doing.
Rabbits being rabbits, producing.
Yeah, and all the different fun things they've been doing on the, their homesteads, gardens going in, the geese running around. The garden here, this is Mac's garden that he's got. This is Courtney's and Dustin's garden in there. Some of the other ones, my picture outside my back kitchen door, got 4 tomato plants right there ready to go. So this is all the things that people have. One more comment. What's the other one? It's someone else's little garden thing. So I think this is an important example of what makes people happy. Food they grow in themselves, whether it's a garden, whether it's rabbits, whether it's turkeys, whatever it is.
There's a sense of accomplishment too for those who have never done it. The first time you grow your very first tomato plant and you pull off tomatoes for a week straight and you're having tomatoes every day, or you plant a garden, you start pulling up your onions and your potatoes, and you walk over to your little raised area and you start picking off some nice, juicy, fresh strawberries. And you sit there and you look at it and say, you know what? I did this. There's a sense of accomplishment. And that accomplishment feeling is what can go a real long way, hey, Howie, into giving you more ambition, if you will, to go further into getting it done.
Folks, a good TV series that dates me because I'm the old guy, but you could check out The Good Life or The Good Neighbors. It was a British TV series in the 70s. I hate to say, in 75 to 76 in BBC One.
Yeah.
BBC.
All right. Now, if anybody's in here that doesn't have a garden and is worried about knowing how to plant a garden, the guy that just came in, Food Forest Permaculture, Howie. Great.
He's got some great stuff. Just say it like it is. He's a savant. Whether he wants to admit it or not, Howie is a savant when it comes to creating a literal forest of food in his yard. And it's not just him. It's not just his yard. He's his whole neighborhood. If you go check out his videos, he's got people planting flowers that didn't used to plant flowers that are growing like weeds, good weeds. Yeah. And that accomplishment will convince them, hey, maybe I should go try planting some other things. Maybe I should go plant some rhubarb or, some okra or something. They'll try something a little further outside their comfort zone. And when they grow that, then they're going to want to grow more. Then they'll grow more. It just rolls into a bigger snowball once you get that accomplishment feeling.
Yeah. And there's some, I'm going to harp on this one more time. You guys some of you may be doing okay without a plan, but I guarantee if you had a plan written down, you'd be doing so much better. Because it's I shouldn't have done this. I should have done that first.
Plus, it helps. It also helps with your finances because, like I said in my live stream, let's say, you got extra $30 this paycheck, but that solar panel you want to get that you really do need to get is $120. So, you need to save 3, 6, 9, 12, 4 months or 4 paychecks worth to get what you want to get that you really do need because you need a source of power. Okay. But then you don't write it down. You don't think about it. And next thing you know, you happen to be cruising through Amazon and holy cow, $25 for that item. I really need it. Click. And then when it gets to the house and you're going, oh, dang it. There went that. Now I got to start all over again because you didn't stick to you didn't write your plan down. You didn't stick with your plan. So write it down and then stick with it. If you have to post it to the fridge with a bunch of flashing arrows pointing to it every single day to remind you, this is my plan, because you're like me and you have ADHD and your brain goes every direction 200,000 miles an hour, 200 times a minute, then do it. That's what you got to do. And if people laugh at you, make fun of you, so what? If they don't understand and they don't get it, have a nice day. Catch me when you're all starving and I got food and you're going, can I have some food, please? Well, you know what? Yeah, I give you some food, but I got some weeds back there in the back garden that need pulled. You go pull them weeds and I'll give you dinner.
Easy way I tell a lot of my friends, if you got new housing development or neighbors, you smile and you welcome them. Hi, here's a bottle of wine. And guess what do I have wrapped up in a ribbon? A fruit tree. That's my motto. I give every new homeowner in my section of town 2 fruit trees. And they look at me, wow, I never planted. It's all right. I got a shovel in back of my car. We'll plant it now. And by 5 years' time, it's producing fruit.
Yeah.
And people don't realize you plant 2 trees per house in the neighborhood or grapevines and stuff. And they're like, is this hard? No, you have a gardener. Just tell him what to do and he'll take care of it. You just harvest the fruit off the ground. And a lot of people like, Uncle Al, where you get all these apples? Uncle Al, where you get all these plums? Because Uncle Al plans ahead.
Example, when I bought the house in Martinez, it had a lemon tree that had frozen back to practically nothing. My wife and I trimmed it up and stuff and got it going back up again. We give out bags and bags and bags of lemons year round off that tree. The apple tree's in the back. My wife takes a 5-gallon bucket twice a week across the street for the horses to give to the horses. So, these are the ones that, that she's not doing and or bringing up here or, making applesauce or anything with. These are ones that are just, the squirrel's knocked off, they hit the ground, and then by the morning she gets out, they got a big old bruise on it. Okay, go give it to the horse. So, all right, we're hitting the top of the hour, so I got a question for everybody in the side chat and everybody still watching. Do you want to keep going? Does anybody want to come up here and join us? Because I can throw the link in the chat if somebody wants to come up here and join us and talk with us. So think about it real quick. Do I want to come up? Type in yes, keep going, and I will throw the link in there, and we'll keep talking because we can probably talk some more stuff on this. Definitely, I can probably go on another hour and a half at least, but I don't want to drag everybody down with all this stuff. But Sarah, I left your comment up there because in 2 weeks on June 11th, that's a Friday, so actually a week and a half, the topic for the on the Friday night on the homestead is going to be container gardens for the patios and inside. So perfect. You started a container garden. That's great. Okay, let's see here. You know what it says? Oh, and she did that so she would not get overwhelmed. Perfect. That's the way you do it. If you want to get, container gardens are great, especially if you get some plastic 55-gallon barrels, cut them in half, and now you got 2 big 27-gallon tubs to grow in.
That's not the only thing, though. All right. A lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, have, Rubbermaid storage totes that they got stacked up somewhere because they were storing things and they got rid of those things like extra clothes or whatever, and they still got the totes just laying around doing absolutely nothing. Put some rocks in the bottom of it. Put some dirt in the bottom of it. Put a little bit of compost on top of it. Throw a little bit more dirt in it. Plant some plants in it.
Yeah. Well, there's the link if anybody wants to come up. Howie's saying keep going. So, and we talked about some stuff, and some of you guys can tell us some of the things you've been doing to examine to find out what your the state of your preparedness evolution is. But one of the things, talking about, easy those totes and, little storage totes and the half 55-gallon barrels. If you check around in your area, especially if it's a 30-minute drive out to some farms and stuff, Sometimes you can pick up some free IBC totes. Those are the 275-gallon totes or the 330,000 with the cages around it. I've done several videos on how to turn those into raised planter beds. Easy to do. It's easy to cut them in half. Now you got, two. You actually don't even have to cut them in half. You cut one and a third, and the other one's 2/3. If you want, plant a tree in one. You don't want to do root crops in the other, or whatever you want to do.
But Gil, you got to tell people, find out what's inside them
first. But if you froze, if you get it from a farmer, most likely it's hooked up to their irrigation system, so it probably had fertilizer in it. So it's great for putting plants in. In fact, some the ones we got in California had seaweed fertilizer in it. And so the seaweed fertilizer, the one had about 4 inches of the fertilizer still in the bottom. So what did my wife and I do? We flushed it out into 5-gallon buckets, and we had fertilizer to sprinkle on the garden for a couple of years. Free fertilizer. It was great. Hey.
I wrote
Miscellaneous Mitsu's here. Hey, did you get your package yet? Courtney and Dustin got their package today, so your candy list should have been coming there,
folks. Again, on the IBC
totes. IBC.
You have to be careful because some, like my dairies next to me, will use it for pesticide for fly control or weed control. So know what goes into those containers, because you don't want to saw one in half and find out, oh, we use it for fungicide on our fruit trees. I'm like, oh God, I can't use this. And find out it's a hazardous waste.
Yeah. So let me fire this up at what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
these are IBC totes. You just got yours too. Cool. So these are IBC totes. They come in different ways, large. This is a 330-gallon one. I can tell because of the number of bars on it. This is a 275-gallon one. Like on my videos, I'll cut it in half, right around here, and pop off this metal plate here. Just pops right off. It's held on by some bent tabs. Pops right off, and I take my reciprocating saw or the angle grinder with a cutting blade on it. And I cut the metal, then I cut the plastic with a reciprocating saw, and I got 2 planters. So 275-gallon divided in half. That's 137-gallon planter. So
now, folks, understand this. If you do buy one of these, make sure you have a pallet underneath it.
Well, most of them, let me pull it back up here. Like this one comes on a wooden pallet. All the ones I get around here are on these plastic pallets. But for the top half, I got hold of a bunch of heavy-duty oak pallets, and I just flipped one over on the top of it. So I got, it came that way. But if you had like a rock area or a gravel area next to your house, just lay it. You can just lay down a piece of weed blocker on top of the gravel, put it on there, and pop the cap off, and it'll just drain naturally. And you don't have to worry about it being on a pallet, but you're not going to be able to move it.
Right. Also, another thing is these are thin skins, because if you put it on a sharp, someplace on the ground that's sharp, it'll poke a hole into your planter or water tank or whatever, and you have like, why is it leaking so much?
Well, actually, you want it to leak. You want it to drain like a normal pot.
Right.
So that, like on the top here, I pull off the big black lid off the top there, and just so it drains out. The only problem is if you don't put weed blocker down, you can get some nasty weeds growing up into it. Now you got weeds growing inside your thing there. Or if you plant like a certain plants in there, like if you go use one to put a like an orange tree or apple tree, some sort of fruit tree, stone fruit or whatever in there, now its roots have gone down into the ground below, and you're never going to be able to move it.
Right. If you, Gil, look at Howie's comment on the chat.
That one?
Right. This
Yeah.
is true, folks. You have to be careful because Canada is a little different from the United States. California is different from
Idaho.
Idaho is different from Washington or Oregon. So you have to be careful on these containers because they use it for a lot of things. Like
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So, all right, some of the containers I got from here in Idaho were used in the manufacturing of polyurethane. And so once they froze again, once they had used it all up and stuff, they cleaned them a little bit. But the polyurethane stuff, after it sits for, when I cut them in half, I just let it sit, and it sets up into the plastic. And it's, so it's just like, putting polyurethane on your dining room table or whatever. That's the type of stuff they were using it for. So,
right.
So it was nothing that was poisonous once it's set up. It gave off fumes and stuff as polyurethane does, but it was, once it's all done and it sets up, it's a plastic container.
Right. Now, if you live nearby, like I am, I have an industrial area nearby my house. They sell these things for food grade use, and you can buy it brand new, and you can use it for rain catching, like City Prepper, or 3D Tripper. She has a whole bunch because remember when her well broke, she had to get water, and that was her only source of water because she lives in East Texas. And that you don't want to drink the swampy water of East Texas. Trust me. I drank enough.
Montezuma's revenge.
Yeah, it's brown and chunky water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the thing is, even if you're don't have a well water and you don't have you just want some water in your garage, you can stack those up 2 or 3 high. And depending on how
I wouldn't go 3.
Okay. And you can stack them, because I've seen them on the trucks higher, but they're probably empty. I wasn't sure, but you can stack them 2 high. It has a 2-inch, depending on most of them have both 2-inch cam lock on it with a thread on the 2-inch pipe thread on it too, so you can hook it up either way, and you can plumb those together and set it up so that you can just fill it from the garden hose into it, fill it up, and you got 200 times, so basically it's 550 gallons of water at a gallon per day per person in your family. You're doing pretty good there. And if you have a 4-person family, you get 4 of those in your garage, you almost got a year's worth of drinking water right there.
Or you could use it for washing too. Gil, remember your was the second video?
It's in one of my I think it's the
second one B.
Yeah, part B. Yeah, part B of emergency planning.
Right. I have to warn. Go ahead before we go ahead on Gil's planning thing, folks. If you're going to use gray water again, make sure that the person who takes the bath and stuff is reasonably healthy, because I have a big beef on that one. I told Will, because if you have some kind of transmittable disease like the plague, cholera, dengue fever,
the red
dragon, I don't think you want to use that one for flushing toilets or washing clothes.
Now, what you can do is, like if you have
give it to the nasty neighbor next door.
Oh, Dave, go stand in the corner and say 6 praise owls. What you can do is, I was talking about you getting some non-potable water. I have several, 10 or 11 now, 55-gallon drums out there that I fill with non-potable water. That means I can't drink it, but I can use it for flushing. And the water I have, I can use it for doing laundry and stuff. Heck, I could probably, all I need to do, because it comes out of the irrigation ditch, and I've been soaked by the water out of there. That comes out of the Snake River. So I just I could sanitize it a little bit and even use it for showers and stuff. But it's, if you need to flush, you can, that. And like that, he was saying, like I was in my one video, I was talking about having extra water for washing your hands and brushing your teeth, or taking I had the little 5-gallon camp shower bag showing that you take a shower. If you capture all that water, you can use that for flushing as well. Use the water twice. You can also set it up so that certain water, you have just the shower water, and it's just like you and the missus, or whatever. You can capture shower water and
froze again.
Use that to wash clothes. Now, if you out working in the garden and stuff and you get really muddy clothes, you probably just have like a 5-gallon or a 10-gallon wash bucket or whatever. You put some of that water in there and you just dip the pants and everything in there just to get all the mud off, so you can actually wash it in another one. But you're not going to kill all your good laundry water.
Right. I have to tell people, if you do like that kind of laundry, make sure the final rinse is clean water, because the big thing in third world countries is skin fungus disease and leprosy. It's still out there, folks. So if you don't want something you like to keep falling off, that's leprosy. It's still going on. There's wet and dry leprosy. I do have to tell people this because I had a big argument with Will on that. It's fine. You could use it bath water and washing machine water. And
here's what Sarah was talking about. They took two of these, and they joined them together, one on top of the other, and sealed it around and stuff, and made showers out of it. And here's another. See how they made showers out of them by stacking them up. So that's what she was talking about. And yeah, you can make a semi-permanent outdoor shower that way. Or if you want, you can take them and you can make a hot tub out of one of them.
Oh, make sure to tell them why you need the metal cage.
Oh, all right. The sides on these things. Here, let me bring it back up. Here, and okay. So this is really thin material. So even when they're doing this, they left most of the cage on there. Wrong button, wrong line. One of these other ones. Oh, I can find one of the other ones here. She actually shows it. All right, here's where he's putting some wood on because it's so soft and flimsy. You cannot bury these.
I haven't heard about that yet, Q, but I'll look into it.
Q, what state of the union are you in? Are you in like California, Louisiana, New York? Where? I want to know where that shortage is at. But the sides, if you try to bury one of these, if you put it in the ground, you fill it full of water, pack all the dirt around it. As you pull the water out, the sides, the cage may stay there, but the dirt will slowly push in against it, and it will, and keep pushing it as it goes, and it will collapse inside of the cage. But yeah, I did bury one, but I had metal sheeting that I ran all the way around, corrugated metal sheeting. I ran all the way around it to keep it from collapsing in. So you can't just you can bury them, but you got to do something to keep it from collapsing in. Plywood does not work.
Well, it does if you want free toothpicks.
So
she's in Spokane Valley, Washington.
Okay, that's not too far from here. That's the next state over.
Soon to be part of Idaho.
No, I will say
Spokane's on the other side.
Oops, sorry about that.
I will say, at least here in some areas around me, that there hasn't been much bleach on the shelf since beginning of last year.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying there's a shortage because there hasn't been any here to replenish it. It has been an item that's been in short supply due to mainly they're supplying hospitals first.
Yeah.
But if it's gotten worse, I have no idea.
What's weird is I keep on getting these ads popped up for the Clorox Turbo, the turbo mix that goes into the sprayer to spray down businesses like gyms and stuff like that. So that's probably where they're shipping it all off to make that and charging an arm and a leg for that stuff. So, she's 10-15 minutes from the Idaho line. Like Spokane. Oh, all right. Okay, that's right. Spokane's up there in the corner up there by up above Coeur d'Alene. Got getting my map mixed up here in my head.
So she's in the 1 to 5 of the counties that went over to Idaho.
I think they're on the ones that are trying to come across.
Never happened.
Yeah.
It'll be nice.
It'd be funny as heck.
Oh yeah, froze again.
Yeah, it'd be funny, but with the current status of the federal left-leaning demon rats
and electoral college.
Yeah, well, they would probably, even if they got, the states all agreed and everything was in that, I can bet that they would go, oh no, we don't want it.
Okay, folks, I gotta poop out because I got another live stream in I think 20 minutes. So, good night, folks. Night, Dave. Night, Gil.
All right.
Remember, watch these two channels. Watch Dave's channel on the Sun because people ask me crazy questions of why isn't my computer working? And I'm looking at them, reboot your computer. And I'm like, oh, Lord. Watch Dave's Sun channel.
Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah. All right. So we're going to wrap it up here, too. We're just going to go ahead and wrap it up. Dave, so Friday is going to be news review, right, for the week?
Of course. Even though Steve said he hates it when I do it.
He doesn't like the news.
Well, then, damn it, read it.
Read it, make comment on it. So, so Dave is on at 9 o'clock Eastern on Friday doing This Week in News and Review. All the fun things that have happened this week. Following him at 10 o'clock on my other channel, Camppatton Family Compound, will be Friday night on the homestead, and we'll be talking about crafts and hobbies on the homestead and elsewhere. So that's what's coming up there for next Friday. Next Tuesday here is going to be water filters, portable and non-portable, weight versus cost. We're going to be talking about do-it-yourself water filters versus buying the high-dollar Berkeys and Zen filters, and what you can do to make a filter that actually does the same thing or even better than them for a lot less. Mm-hmm. All righty. They make a great. Oh, yeah, Sarah. The guy I got mine from, who actually bought the new house here from, Brandon, he was taking them and cutting it out and making dog houses out of them. And people saw the dog houses he was fast as he could make them. He was selling them, and so. But yeah, have you looked into
potassium permanganate?
What is potassium permanganate?
Hold on, look it up.
Yeah, with those IBC totes, he also took a bunch of them, cut off the bottom so it was only 6 inches of the plastic, took it out, gave me about 6 or 7 of those, and then he took the cage and cut it and bent it in and reattached it bent in so it had it like a V. And for people that were using it for animal feed, they'd take a bale of alfalfa, toss it up in there, and the goats or cows, whatever, come up and eat on it. Anything that fell down out of the V would land in the bottom and would not get on the mud and the ground, and so they could keep eating that. All righty. Oh, there it is. Howie answered it. Kills fungus.
Yeah, I just posted some more.
Okay. There we go. Boom. Athlete's foot and impetigo. Oh, okay. Cool. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you for sticking around. Those of you that did. That's what's coming up here for the next week or so. Do you know what you're doing next Tuesday, Dave? Not yet. Okay.
Yeah, I'm choking on jelly bellies.
Jelly Bellies meetings in Fairfield, California. Yes.
Literally, by the sounds of it.
I've taken my scouts through the Jelly Belly factory tour several times. It is a cool place. All righty. Okay, I think that's going to wrap it up then. Everyone out there, if you think this was an interesting live stream and had information that you think is good for people trying to get prepared, or any or my videos on preparedness, please share them out. Look at the people, because the more people that are prepared, the less likely they're going to come after your supplies. All righty. So I'm going to go ahead and kill it here, and everyone stay happy, stay safe, stay prepared, and we will see you Friday.